Welcome to the College Investor Audio Show, where we talk about the biggest issues impacting millennial money, from student loan debt to side hustles to building wealth. We will show you how to get out of debt so that you can build real wealth for the future.
Greetings and welcome to another College Investor Audio Show. So glad to have you a part of things today. Today we're checking out some effective tax rates. How much you actually pay in taxes? Let's say you make $60,000 a year. What do you actually take home? You know it isn't $60,000, but if you are in the 22% tax bracket, does that mean you'll pay $13,200 in taxes? You might be surprised at how your taxes are calculated. Today, we'll go over it and what you're really taking home in income. Normal taxes. So we're going to be calling federal and state taxes normal taxes, air quotes. These are taxes that most all of us pay. Whether income is categorized as earned or unearned, we're going to use an example with someone earning $60,000 a year. That's $5,000 a month. But we know that isn't their take-home pay. What are they actually taking home once federal and state taxes come into play? Well, to keep the example pretty simple, we're just going to adjust for the standard deduction. Also, this is a single wage earning person in their mid-30s, not retired. We first need to know what federal tax bracket this person falls into for 2020. The 10% tax bracket is between $0 and $9,700 for a single person. Remember, we're dealing with a single person here. 12% is, from that point, $9,701 up to $39,475. Now let's look at the 22% tax bracket, $39,476 to $84,200. Looks like that person is smack dab in the middle of that. So they fall into the 22% tax bracket based on their income. This doesn't mean we multiply $60,000 by 22%, which would equal $13,200. It's a little more complex than that. First, we need to subtract the standard deduction. For 2020, the federal standard deductions are $12,400 for single filers and $18,650 for married filers filing jointly. For our single tax filer, they deduct $12,400 from their income. $60,000 minus $12,400 equals $47,600. $47,600 is their taxable amount of income. Now we begin applying the tax rates. The first 10% rate is calculated on the first $9,700. $9,700 times 0.10 equals $970. Next, we subtract $9,700 from $39,475 to get the taxable amount for the 12% and 22% rates. $39,475 minus $9,700 equals $29,775 times 0.12 equals $3,573. $47,600 minus $39,475 equals $8,125. This gives us a tax bill of $970 plus $3,573 plus $8,125 equals $12,668. Now, the good news is that this is lower than the $13,200 if we had just done a straight 22% calculation on the total income. State taxes work the exact same way. Let's check out some tax brackets for a single filer in New York State. The $0 rate is 4%. $8,500, 4.5%, $11,700, blah, 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 all the way up to where our tax filer is 6.21% state tax rate. So we're still going with that $47,600 amount as taxable income. Note that the state standard deduction may be different from the federal, but for simplicity's sake, we'll use the same amount. We can see this puts us into the 6.21% tax bracket. So let's do that calculation. The first $8,500 times 0.04, 4%, equals $340. We do the exact same thing we did with the federal with all the different tax brackets, and we get to $47,600 minus $21,400, which is the tax bracket that we're going to be in, equals $26,200 times the tax rate is going to give us $1,738. Now, if we add up all of the taxes, we get a total tax bill in the state of New York, just as our example, of $2,742.38. Way lower than the federal tax bill, which makes sense because the state tax rates are lower. So our total tax bill comes to $12,668 federal plus $2,742.38 equals $15,410.38. Our take-home pay then is $60,000 minus $15,410 equals $44,489.62. But what's the effective tax rate? We can figure that out with the following calculation. 1 minus $44,489.62 over 60,000 equals 25.85%. Our effective tax rate is 25.85%. We're not done yet, believe it or not. We still need to add in a few other taxes. All taxes. So we have the following taxes that haven't even been factored in yet. FICA, Social Security, 6.2%, and Medicare tax, 1.45%. Sales tax, a flat tax on purchases, groceries, car, home, all that kind of stuff. Gas tax paid on the gas pump, and then property tax if you own a home. If the person in our example is paid once a month, we know their gross income will be $5,000. To calculate FICA, we have to do this. 5,000 times 0.62, and that's the percentage, equals $310 per month, or per pay period, I should say. $5,000 times 0.0145 for Medicare is $72.50. That's a total of $382.50 that will come out of this person's check every month. Sales and gas taxes are flat taxes. They're not based on wages or income. They are instead calculated on the amount of the purchase only. Property taxes are based on the annual property assessment of your home. This can change from year to year. It's not dependent on your income. You only pay based on the assessment, which is generally much lower than the value of your home. Healthcare premiums can be thought of as a pseudo-tax. This is similar to utilities. All reduce your take-home pay. From all of these calculations, the original $60,000 isn't even close to what you'll take home. Taxes take a large chunk out. And then other needs, such as healthcare and utilities, reduce the amount even further. But knowing how much you're paying in taxes and keeping a close eye on your spending can help you keep non-wages taxes related costs under control. That's what we have for today. I know you're listening to this going, what? That's a lot of numbers. Slow down, Professor. Trying to keep track on the little notepad? I get it. You can see this article and actually read through it and do the practice yourself with your own take-home pay. All of this and more. Tons of resources for you at thecollegeinvestor.com. Anyway, I hope that got your wheels spinning a little bit to know what you need to do for your homework if you want to do this yourself. That's all we have, and thank you so much for stopping by again today and listening. So very much appreciate it. Share this with someone else if you found it helpful and you want to help them out too. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you again very soon.